And did you feel at the time, when you were looking in the mirror, what did you look like? Do you feel like you were small?
Yeah, I was really small, and I think I thought that, you know,
Yeah.
but it was never small enough, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like you see what you see, but then there's this disconnect between
Complete
what you
body dysmorphia, like
Yeah.
you just don't see that at all.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It's Rebecca Louise, and welcome back to the It Takes Grit podcast. In my house today, sitting on the sofa, we have got BTES Trainer Meghan Brown in the house. Meghan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here.
Are you excited?
I'm really excited.
And also probably be a little bit nervous because we have no preparation for this. Instead, I have all the preparation in my head. And Megan's like, what are we going to be talking about? I said, do not worry. I said, is there anything that you don't want to talk about? And you said,
No.
No. And you know what? We're even going to be talking about sex positions, right? That was one of the things that came up today. Megan was telling me all about her sex positions about 3 years ago. I think we were drunk in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
We were going around on really fun scooters.
Yeah.
And you'd had a little bit to drink. I'd had a little bit to drink. And Megan was telling me about her incredible sex life and all these different, and her favorite position.
Yeah.
What is your favorite position?
Oh my gosh. You know, just depends on the right person. They're all good.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about your relationship too, because
Yeah.
Rob is your one and only,
Yes.
which is amazing, and I love that. Like, they have a very beautiful relationship that's incredible, and, you know, I won't let Megan get too embarrassed. I'll talk about my sex life too, because I've had some massive breakthroughs recently. You're really proud of me. I think I got like a high five. Megan wanted to give me a high five earlier, like, hey, I'm so glad that that's happening for you now. So she wanted to give me the high five, but I could see her like itching to do it, but yes, I'm glad that we're both having a lot of fun in the bedroom as well. But today's podcast, we're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about your story because, guys, I tell Megan's story to everybody that comes in contact with me. I'm like, she's like my number one testimonial of like, I just love your transformation, and everybody knows about your story. And you know, we're going to be talking about eating disorders today because there was one point you were down to, what was the lowest weight that you were at?
Probably 89 pounds.
89 pounds, and you're 5'3" because you've got that half an inch on top of me. You've got that.
I think it's the other way around.
Is it the other way around? Oh, I've got the half. Oh, I've got the half. Okay, so you're the 5'2". I knew that one of us was like half an inch taller than the other. And we're going to be talking through that and how you got to America and your journey, and now you're up 20 pounds of lean muscle.
Yep.
And I was checking her butt out today. I was meant to say, and I got distracted with something else, and you got these shorts on. I'm like, Megan's booty is just on fire, right? So, you know, you're looking so good, looking so healthy, and, you know, we'll put some photos in of what Megan was like before in your story. But how do you feel today if you just look back and, you know, we're going to recap her story, but one thing that you're feeling right now as you're sitting here being interviewed on the It Takes Grit podcast, like, what are you feeling?
I feel really confident, and that's something I used to just dream of, and yet it's like I feel like I belong, like I deserve to be here. And it took a lot to get here, but I'm here.
Yeah, and it's amazing because, you know, Megan didn't grow up like you worked out a lot. We're going to be going through your story of how you got here. But now that you're a BTS trainer, you went through and did something completely different. You did a switch, kind of like me, you know, as a pilot, you were doing your engineering, and now as a trainer on the BTS app. So take us back to when you first remember food being an issue for you.
Yeah, so I was living in Germany at the time. I moved around a lot as a kid, so I'm always like, where was I living? How old was I? Okay, got it. So I was like 10 years old. Very, very young. And honestly, I always looked up to the Olsen twins, still do. No shade there, but I know one of them had an eating disorder. And it kind of got me interested and curious. And I was just like, And I used to just, you know, obsess what was going in my lunchbox. Like, literally, I'm a kid. And it wasn't healthy, and just really checking myself out every second in every mirror. And my dad used to imitate that, which was fun at the time. He's like, you know, oh, like, this is Megan. But it then became an issue. And I don't think anyone realized that it would, but like, yeah, 10 years old.
So 10 years old, and you're thinking about, what are they putting in my lunchbox? I don't want this in my lunchbox. What was the food that you were avoiding?
Right, probably just carbs, you know, and it was then this habit, I got into this habit of not finishing what I had. Even if it was like a bag of carrots, it was like, let's see if I can't like finish it all. And it was to just kind of shave off calories. That was always my mindset. unfortunately.
So it was like a game for you, like, hey, I'm going to try and not finish everything, and then that's going to make me feel good. And so did you start losing weight? Like, because at 10 years old, like, are you looking at yourself to be skinnier? What did you want?
Right, so it's all coming back to me now, but gosh, so we're living in Germany, and they had a school nurse, and maybe it was a language barrier, but she was very blunt, and she's like, you eat sweets though, yeah? And I was like, no, and she goes, but you're fat. So, and I remember that moment like it was yesterday, just the factual, but you're fat, so you must be doing something. And then I lost a lot of weight naturally, puppy fat. Like I was tubby, not fat, and then I lost a lot of weight. And it wasn't a big deal, but then people started recognizing that. Of course, when you get that feedback where someone says, you look good, you must have lost weight, and you hear it over and over and over again, I think that's when it really started, and I just wanted to keep it going.
So at 10 years old, you think that it was 10 years old when a nurse said to you.
Yeah.
So, and like, you know, a kid, like, you still got a bit of like, puppy fat on you. Yeah, because you wasn't like you struggled with being overweight.
No.
You're just a kid. Like all kids, like I've always been pretty like slight. I mean, my dad's like genes is very slight.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get that one comment from someone, and it's crazy how that stuck in. So I believe that's probably. Do you think that was before the Olsen twins? Because you're 10 years old. Like, do you know the Olsen twins, or do you think it was the nurse that came first?
Nurse maybe came first.
And then you look for inspiration.
Probably.
Which was the bad inspiration, right? Really, it's not really
inspiration. Yeah, right here, but yeah, that's probably what
right.
happened.
So then now you're like, okay, did you even eat sweets at that age? Like,
I wouldn't say we had the healthiest diet growing up, and I always regret that a little bit. And it's like I just didn't know.
You can't. You don't know at 10 years old like what you're supposed to be eating. So then explain to me what was it like from the age of 10 to 14?
Yeah. So I was actually diagnosed with anorexia age 13. So clearly it got really bad when we moved back home to Scotland, where I'm from, because I loved Germany. I associated it with so many great things. It was the longest I'd been in one place, so it felt like home. I had great friends. You know, I loved the school. I loved the weather. It was just a lot that was taken away from me. And I think because it was outside of my control, this was my way of rebelling. What happened first, though, when we got to Scotland was I put on a lot of weight because I was upset and I was eating, and it was just terrible foods and not working out and not being healthy at all. And yeah, I didn't love my circumstances. I fell out of love with learning, and I'm such a passionate learner. Like, I just lost a piece of myself for a year. And then that was it. The turning point became, you know, I just stopped eating completely.
So what age did you move back to Scotland?
13.
So you were 13 and you put on weight when you got to Scotland.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay, now I'm going to lose it.
Right.
And then basically in the space of a year then, you moved to Scotland, you put on weight, you lost it, and then you got diagnosed with anorexia.
That's right.
So that's in a very short space of time.
It was, yeah.
And what was the process like when you went to the doctor, and who diagnosed you? Like, did your parents were worried? Like, what happened?
Yeah, well, it was actually my friends at high school, 14-year-olds, that gave me a pamphlet, like a leaflet, and were like, hey, we think you should get help. And I feel like I was touched by that, because, you know, it's like, gosh, anyone could have said anything, but it took my friends to say that, and it was like, okay. So I did it, you know, and my parents drove me there and everything, and when they sat me down and were like, officially, you're anorexic, I almost felt like, yes, like I did it. And that is sick to say out loud and think about, but that's how I felt at the time.
And I relate to that because I remember when I was going through it at 17, I was a little bit older than you at the time when I started going through it. And that was because I was getting bullied at school, and it was like the only thing that I could control. And I would try and I'd live off seeds and cucumber, like nothing. And I remember going and having to be weighed every single week at the doctor's, and then I'd lose another pound. And to them, I'd be like, oh, you know, that's really bad. In my head, I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like, and you're just like, that was just like it was a competition. Yeah. Like, I did not want to go back in there of gaining weight, even staying the same. Like, I wanted to know that I was getting thinner. So, okay, so you get diagnosed.
Yep.
Then what happens? What do they do? What do they give you? What's your thought process?
When I've reflected back on this, I realized the huge aspect they never gave me was mindset. We never really talked about it or had counseling. All they focused on was gaining me weight. Like, it was like, come on, let's eat, let's watch her eat. So they had someone come into school and sit with me at lunch every day. And that sucked because I had to get taken to a room by myself. And sometimes the room was like off campus. So it's like really weird. And so I had to go with this woman, and it would be a different person almost every other time. And they'd just sit and watch me eat, and it was horrible. And I feel like I've blocked a lot of that out, but that's what it was. I got taken out of gym class. They told me I couldn't go in swimming pools and stuff. They were like, oh, your body temperature is so low, like it's not safe. So I remember for one of my birthdays, bringing my friends to a hotel. My parents paid for us to stay the night and use the spa and pool facilities. And yeah, just like only being able to dip my feet in. They were like, you can't go in the water. It was a lot.
And did you feel at the time when you were looking in the mirror, what did you look like? Do you feel like you were small?
Yeah, I was really small, and I think I thought that, you know,
Yeah.
but it was never small enough, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like you see what you see, but then there's this disconnect between
Complete
what you
body dysmorphia, like
Yeah.
you just don't see that at all.
Yeah.
And so then you get to 14 years old, and I remember because when we met you were 23, 24,
Yep.
and I remember you turning around to me and I got you started on a nutrition plan, and we'll come to that point, but you were like, I haven't had lunch since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
So take us back to 14. Somebody's watching you eat now at lunch.
Right.
Now, were you throwing up? What were you doing?
No, not at that point in time, and like just eating what I was told to eat. And honestly, I think that started me like just living in the future, because I was like, I want to get out of here. Like, I don't want this anymore, and like I got to do what I got to do if I have to eat now. But I was probably planning and plotting on like, when can I go back to my old habits, you know, when I'm free of this. So almost just waiting it out till I was 18 and not being really happy.
So between 14 and 18, did someone keep watching you having lunch? Were your family try to feeding you more food? Like, was people helping you, or were you just like, because you were still going through everything?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know my parents helped by like weighing food at home and stuff. You know, they'd actually help me weigh it out. I had to have a certain amount of carbs and protein and stuff. So we did that. That maybe tapered off. I think they were more lenient at home, but I still had someone come in and watch me right up until, yeah, like 17 years old. Maybe they went down from like 5 days a week to once or something. I still had that on the calendar though. I have to go and eat lunch with this person, and did not do PE or sports at school.
So you never ever did for the rest of your whole time there? Never did any
Literally
sport?
never saw the gym in my high school, because high school was a separate building, so 3 years. Yeah.
So really, you've made a massive transition, right?
Right.
Let's just give this up, that you never did even PE at school.
No.
And now you're a trainer, like on you know, one of the best, you know, I would say one of the best fitness apps out there, actually.
The best,
yeah, the best, you know. Wow, that's just absolutely amazing. So it feels like a bit of a blur, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like you're gonna go off to university.
Yep.
So you're 18 years old, you get a full scholarship to Caltech University in California, which is just phenomenal. Like, how many people get a scholarship?
Yeah, so I wanted to do study abroad. I was at Edinburgh University, and they said there's one spot at Caltech. You know, it's going to be tough. And I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were tiny at the time.
Yeah, I think I, you know, put on some weight in high school. I was looking all right. Still, like, slender, but, you know, I didn't see it that way. And then when I got to university, just kind of went back in those old habits. No one was watching me anymore. I actually used to, it was like a buffet style for our first year at university, because I lived in dorms. And I would just go for, like, the sweets. I'd load up on 2 servings of cake and custard, and that's what I was eating. And I often think back, and I'm like, I don't want to know about the nutritional value of anything I ate. I ate ridiculous, but just not much.
So you just ate like the chocolate and the sweets part. Yeah. So then you're here for a year, right, in just Caltech?
Yep.
So you were there for a year. What were you doing? Like, what was your nutrition like? Did you ever go into bulimia? Were you throwing up? Like, when did that start?
Yeah, so 2 years at Edinburgh University, and then for my 3rd year I got to go to Caltech, so flying 5,000 miles away, and I think it was just feeling like I was so distanced from my old life. I don't know what the first bulimia incident was, but it happened, and I was like, let's just keep going. So that's when that started.
And how long were you doing that for? How long?
3 years.
About 3 years. And then you went back to, because then you so explain to me, like, so did you go back to Scotland to finish off your degree?
Yep.
And then you met your husband, right, out in Caltech.
Yeah.
So talk to me the story about, like, okay, you're still struggling with bulimia at this time. Does he know? And you're dating?
No, he almost, when I talk about with him now, he's very like, you know, I was aware, and I often show him old photos of me, and I'm like, look what I look like how are you attracted to this? So I do that, and he almost just says, you know, I love you as a person, but I was like, but you didn't see that? Like, that doesn't look good to me. And like, if I were to help someone now, and I do, I feel like I do get to pay my story forward, and I'm very honest with people. If they don't look healthy, I'm like, something's going on, like, tell me, talk to me. And I don't think people did that with me.
Yeah.
I didn't let him.
Well, you probably didn't let them. Meghan is very hardworking and driven and independent, and I got this, right? Probably people were like, I'm like the same, right? People were always like, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells with you sometimes. I'm like, I get that, right? It's because we're just, you know, we kind of say it how it is, and we're very independent, and I got this, I don't need your help. So you meet the love of your life, Rob.
Yeah.
And you go on. You have one date together. You were you were out dancing, right? Tell us the story.
It was a great first date. So
yes.
He planned it all. He shows up to pick me up. We drive to the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. So we started our date there. We did coffee. We did dinner at the Hard Rock. We did a movie. We watched Big Hero 6. It was just like a cute, like animated film in the theater there. Then he drove us up to the Griffith Observatory, and he laid out a fleece on the ground and was like, "Let's look at the stars."
Oh my God. Well, he's amazing. Like, he gets all of Meghan's dresses. Meghan either gets dresses from my closet or Rob's wallet. Like, it's either those two.
Not wearing anything else.
She doesn't need to wear anything else. She's got we've got you covered. Between the two of us, like, we've got you absolutely covered. So then you meet him, you're still going through all of this and you're kind of hiding it.
Yeah.
Are you going out for dinner with him and then throwing up after? Like, how are you navigating that? Because at one point you were just having an apple for lunch.
Right. So yeah, still definitely skipping meals. I like the sweet things like yogurt and muesli and stuff. That would be my morning, like granola, that would be the breakfast. Living off coffee. Caltech is when I discovered coffee. And sometimes, well, that suppresses your appetite. So I'm just all over the place with nutrition. There is no nutrition. I think if I went out for dinner, I kept that down. But like, you're a broke student and sometimes it was easy to just overeat, and then I'd so binge, then purge, and then just go days without really eating much. So.
Wow. And then so the crazy story is Meghan reached out to me, how many years ago? 5?
Yeah.
She messaged me on Facebook. Guys, you're going to love this story. Messages me on Facebook, and what did you say to me?
I was just like,
you were on a
"Hey,
treadmill,
Rebecca."
right?
I was like on the exercise bike at the time.
And how old were you?
I do that. I'm 20.
20 years old?
Yeah.
And you're in America at the time?
Yes. So it would have been 21 visiting Rob, because now we're doing 2 years long distance when I'm in Scotland, and it was maybe Christmas break. I came back out here, and I messaged you on Facebook to say, "Hey, Rebecca, like, I've done your workout videos for a couple of years now. Like, I love your energy. You've inspired me. You've changed my life. Thank you so much." That was the gist of the message.
But it hadn't really changed just yet because you were still exercising then excessively. Yeah. So then explain to me, because we have you weren't doing any physical activity,
right.
And then you got to excessive. And I've seen you work out too. And when we first got together, I was like, you really did have an excessive when it came to. So when did you pick up exercise?
I feel like that was also at Caltech. I think it was a new chapter. Bulimia came in somehow, which is super unhealthy, and then it was like, let's start working out. I think because I saw that Americans worked out more than what I'd been exposed to back home. There was a gym. It was like cool to go to the gym.
Yep.
Rob plays basketball, so I guess I just kind of was like, let's take a peek, do this. But I started by doing apps and just YouTube workouts in my room because I was probably super embarrassed to work out in front of anybody else. So.
And then how many hours a day were you working out?
At that point in time, not a lot, but it very quickly, within a year, transitioned into the 1.5, 2 hours a day.
And you would do the same workouts every day?
Super guilty of that.
Yeah. I was like, Meghan, you gotta switch it up. Like, this is why we have the calendar on the BTS app, so they're helping people like Meghan, right?
I tell everybody that now. I'm like, don't be like me.
Yeah, do the different workouts.
Yeah.
Right, so you're exercising excessively, then you reach out to me, that message, right, back to that message, and I reply back, and at the time, I'm doing pickup dodgeball. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, Meghan, come and play dodgeball with me. I was inviting her to an event. She ghosted me, not just for 2 days, not just for 2 months, but for 2 years. You ghosted me.
Yeah.
Why do you think you never replied?
I knew at that moment that it was a lie I was telling myself, and I was telling you too, that I was better and I was healthy, and probably I was terrified to do anything sports related. I was like, I can't play dodgeball. I've never played anything, so that was part of it too.
Yeah, it's got a couple of fears. Yeah. And so then, 2 years later, after that, I then do another fit camp. It's in Huntington Beach. Yeah. And you decide that you see the pop-up on Facebook. And what made you that time say, I want to come out. I want to come?
Yeah, what was different? I mean, I was sat at my desk in my cubicle doing my engineering job at the time. Obviously really gloomy atmosphere, negative colleagues, no windows in that place. And seeing your bright poster, maybe you made it on Canva and it looked beautiful, and I was like, I'm going there, wherever there is. And then I looked it up and realized Huntington Beach was close, because I was still only a year into my stay permanently here in America, and no clue about geography. So I was like, oh, it's an hour away. I can do that. Yeah. That was the thing. And then you came down, and Meghan, you got an Uber there, and you said that were you hungover that day, or had you drunk wine before? Because then you started picking up some alcohol. I know, that's true. That also happened at Caltech. And I think that was also just another, let's add to the toxicity pile. It's another coping mechanism, because at the end of the day, I think eating disorders are often born out of wanting control. And you need a lot of control to maintain it. So I think that's just something you pick up, you practice, and it can go both ways. It can go very unhealthy, but I think it can go in your favor too. So yeah, drinking was when I was alone, and I was alone a lot in America. I was alone in Germany when I did an internship there, age 23, so 20 or 22, and then 23 I come to America, come to your fit camp around about age 23. We just got married like a few weeks prior, and it was like new chapter, you know? So, yeah.
So you'd almost just finished your job as well. You had like a week left of your engineering job. So Meghan arrives at this fit camp, and you arrive early, right? And I'm like, who is this girl? She had like great energy, and I remember like you saying like, just stick around at the end. I want to get your number. I want to add you on Instagram or whatever it is. And then so we made that connection. And that day, I think we texted and they said, come down to my office. And you got another Uber all the way down from Pasadena, back down to Huntington Beach on the Tuesday. I think it was a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was early because the workout was on a Saturday.
Right.
You come down, and then I said, hey, what was the line I said to you?
You said, do you want to lock arms and change the world?
Yeah, and you were like, I am in. Yes, absolutely. I said, great. Well, we're flying to Houston, Texas next week.
Yeah.
So you need to sign up here, send your PayPal for here, and we're going to get you started on a nutrition program. And you were just like, yes, 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 yes. Like the easiest person, like, you know, when you have this great opportunity, and I've been, you know, a health coach for like, I think it was like 5 years before, just changed my life. You know, I got in the best shape of my life, got really great nutrition, started to feel amazing, and I was like, oh my goodness, I found someone here that really does have the work ethic, that wants to link arms, that wants to do it. So you flew to Houston, and then it's just been like, how many years ago was that? Was that 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
So
this summer.
You made a big transition then to quit the engineering world. And how did that feel, transitioning from that into, like, explain it to people, what you did?
It felt so right because I had my master's degree in electrical mechanical engineering. I worked in industry. Part of that was we got to do 6 months in industry. So I'd already seen what a big company's like, and I felt like a small cog and just unappreciated and didn't love it. Went into a smaller company here in the States. Again, felt like I might have more freedom, but I didn't. And I hated clocking in and out every day, didn't love having a boss. And that was the big appeal with you, your lifestyle, the fact that you were an entrepreneur, you were your own boss. Like if you work hard, it pays off for you. Whereas that's not guaranteed in corporate America. And I was like, I'm in. I lasted 1 year in industry, and I was like, send me a lifeline. And I took it.
You're like, here I am, I got my lifeline.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I think we started working together. We started helping people that have been in the same position as Meghan. You gained 20 pounds of lean muscle, looking amazing. And now you're a full-time health coach. And then you started doing workouts on the app. Was that a year afterwards?
About, I think.
About a year afterwards.
Although we went on KTLA very soon after.
Yes, we did a job on KTLA together.
Yeah.
And then talk to everybody about, like, you know, how it felt for you. Like, Rebecca wants you to be a BTES trainer. What does this mean? I used to follow her. Like, what's that experience been like for you?
It's crazy and it's humbling. Like, I often think back to watching your videos and where I was at the time in my little dorm room in Scotland. I try and get my friends in on it, and we do it together. And just seeing you in all these beautiful locations and sunshine, you were so fit and healthy and energized. And I think for the first time, I don't think there was much imposter syndrome. I'd always had that in engineering. Always second guessing myself, feeling like this doesn't feel right. And don't get me wrong, I was nervous, and I was like, I got like big shoes to fill, and we're gonna do this together, and you're gonna mentor me. And I just trusted the process, and I trusted me. I was like, I got this.
Yeah, and now you just do a workout like you can close your eyes and just do it.
Yeah.
Like you've done it. Yeah, it's just like it's amazing. You just have such great energy, and you bring so much to, you know, the app, and I just absolutely adore you. And so now you're in this position. I asked you this, you know, before, but like as you're sitting here on the couch, like what comes to feelings for you? Like what is it that you're feeling, thinking? You're in this moment right now. Just embrace that. Like what is it that's coming to for you?
Yeah, I always live in gratitude, but I'm just especially grateful today. Like, this is so cool. Who gets to do this, you know?
Well, you do, because you're awesome. And you also said confidence. I remember you said, like, earlier we were talking about confidence. You feel so much more confident now.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like, obviously we all have days, right, where we have, like, moments where we kind of beat ourselves up because of something that I remember when you said, like, I'm not drinking. And then you're like, I am drinking. And then I'm just like, I'm not. And I'm like, Meghan, don't beat yourself up. If you want to have a drink, it's okay.
Yeah.
But talk to us about that relationship that you have now with food and alcohol and exercise. What's the difference? Because it's not like it just completely goes away.
No.
There's always moments. So what would you share with somebody else who may be going through that, knowing, like, just getting to understand you and your story a bit better?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of power in stories, so I'm just going to tell you what happened, how it happened with me. But it was like, I just hit that rock bottom point where I was like, everything needs to change. I didn't have this limiting mindset of like, well, we'll do this today and then we'll move on to that tomorrow and it's too much and I'm overwhelmed. Like, I really don't like that mindset. It was just all or nothing. Like, next day, you told me to eat 6 times a day. I was eating once a day. Now, I never turned around and was like, oh, that's a lot. That's a big difference. Like, well, it is, but do something about it. And I just jumped right in. And I forced myself to eat. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I forced myself to eat the 6 times a day. I trusted everything you told me, and it changed a lot very fast. But because I did it all and not like halfway, I was seeing and feeling the difference. I was feeling more energy. I was going on runs, and it wasn't like sore anymore. And everything was aligning real fast because I was moving fast as well at the start.
I remember too when I first got started on my nutrition program and I just had to follow my mentor blind, and I almost like, I would say to him like, I feel like I'm your puppet on a string.
Yep.
And it's like, sometimes you just have to surrender, like someone is there to like help you and just surrender. So you've been through so much, you've moved country, you met your husband in America, you went through an eating disorder, drinking, excessive exercise. What would you tell somebody right now who's watching that is either going through something or is transitioning out of it? Like, what would your advice be for them?
Yeah, my advice would really be like, just get clear on who you want to be and really tackle the question of, do you deserve? Because I think a lot of what I was doing, I understood was like some form of self-harm, and it was coming from a place of like, I don't think you deserve it. And it was negative self-talk, and it was just not enough self-love. And when you get clear on the fact that you love yourself, the question of whether you weigh 10 pounds more or 10 pounds less is like insignificant. And that's when I detached weight from happiness, then a lot changed on the food side and drinking too much. And it was like, I just want to be happy, and I want to figure out who I am and how I can be my best self.
So when you get those, last question for you as we wrap this up, I know everyone's like, we want another episode about Meghan and Rebecca's sex life. Well, maybe we'll make a part 2.
Next time.
But yeah, we're going on for this one for all about nutrition. But like, if you, what happens when you get those negative thoughts into your head? Like, how do you deal with that? Like, when you go back to going, oh, I want to have a drink, or I don't want to eat this food, I want excessive exercise. Like, do you have something that you do that just kind of wakes you back up to being in alignment with who you are, or what do you do?
Yeah, I've always made sure I have a few like tools to my tool belt for that. So I think accountability is big. I do have a therapist now, and I know that's something we talked about. You encouraged it, and I was like, let's do it. Like, enough making excuses. Let's just jump in. So that's great to have someone just to message, even if they don't respond. Just having that message, it's like, it's real. I put the problem out there. I got it off my chest. So that's one that's great. I do distance myself. So if I'm in the kitchen and the question is, should I eat something? Should I drink something? The wine's right. Oh, what do I move room. I go outside. I get fresh air. I, change my state a little bit, or I go for a run. And that's become great for me. I never used to enjoy running, or I used to do it for unhealthy reasons like burning calories. Mm-hmm. Now I love it. And I can just go for 5 minutes, come back and be like, whoo, I'm ready.
Right.
To reset.
Yeah, absolutely. Just resetting, recharging your brain, and just taking a moment and just not getting so in your head. Because I think like when you're so in your head, like that's where you feel crazy. Yeah. In your head, you're dead. Exactly. So what are you most excited about for this year?
Ooh, for this year, definitely have some, goals in terms of how many people I want to impact and help. And, this year, it's been amazing already. I can see that I've grown and changed a lot. But again, it's like keep moving those goalposts, keep reaching for newer goals. So I am excited. By the end of the year, I got some big targets coming up, and I'm ready for what's next.
Well, I'm so excited. Our team is expanding. It's amazing. And where can people find you on Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, so Instagram, that's at Meghan K. Brown. Meghan is spelled like Meghan Markle, Meghan. We got the H in there. And Meghan Brown Anderson on Facebook.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Meghan, for being open and honest and just sharing her story. It's not easy sometimes to revisit back stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot this. Like this came into my head too. So we appreciate you being so open, honest, and just sharing with, it's our audience. Like it really is. It's our community and the people that we've been inviting into this. So thank you so much for watching and listening, everybody. Make sure that you go and give Meghan some love. Give her some, just go and give her a comment, or just a DM, just to say how much that you appreciate her, because we appreciate her so much and she is unbelievable. And make sure that you go and give us a review on either iTunes or Spotify, wherever you are listening and watching. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.